Good morning. It's a beautiful day in San Miguel de Allende, and it's a special day here with Lord of the Column. Not sure exactly what it means. It has to do with some figure they made to save the town from the plague back in 1923. But we were awakened by the cohetes fireworks
Which you may
explosions.
hear.
Started about 5:30ish this morning, and yeah, just when you think it's over, there'll be another one. It's over now. Of course, they're not going to blow any more fireworks
Until the
when we
next
start
2 minutes.
until we're done with this video. This is going to be a long one. I really want y'all to just have a sip of your coffee or whatever you're having right now. Mmm, it's Mayan coffee. Now we have to look at the Mayan calendar on this day, 8 water, 8 muluk or 8 toch. It means offering. So there's definitely an offering ceremony going on right now downtown in San Miguel. And there's amazing things that will, I hope if you listen to this carefully, I'm not just giving you stories about me, okay? I'm giving you kind of a sequence of events that has happened in my life. And according to the Maya Solkin calendar, there's it describes perfectly the energies of this time period. It is quality of the energy.
Confirmation.
All right, there's it's quality of the time. It's the gravity of the situation right now, and it's personal. So it sounds like sometimes I talk just Carlos is just talking about himself. Who cares about his story? But it's based on the calendar, and you see the past, and you know kind of this quality is going to come around again in the future, and it's geopolitical also, and local, and mostly though it's deeply personal. So as you use this calendar, your life becomes a sacred thing. You see the holiness of this frequency of energy right now. So there was an 8 Muluk water day, August 21st, 1999. Now, I'd been traveling a lot in Mexico before that, and I would come and collect crystals, and I'd found these very peculiar black quartz crystals, and it was just some little desert shop on the side of the highway in Mexico. And I had some other friends that were astrologers, and they recommended I take these crystals to a woman named Caroline. Caroline. And she's told me that the black quartz had been irradiated. Somebody had, I don't know how you would radiate the quartz to make it black. I don't know if you would do that on purpose or if it was just a certain location that they found it in that this had happened. I don't know. So she pulled out some copper dowsing rods, and they're little copper tubes, another copper stick that comes out and is bent, and she had two of them, and they spin around. I used to have some, but they managed to fall away from my possession. I really would love to have them back or make some other ones. So these she's spinning these copper rods with the crystals and kind of shaking them around, and she starts telling me about me, about myself, that there was this is still very much a part of my life today. she said that there is a conflict on what I should do with my hands. I was a guitar. I'm still a guitar player, but she said these spirits, the ancestor guides of mine, couldn't understand why I wasn't painting. Okay, so I'm painting. I started painting in May of 2000. So it was still several months before.
And your family, many of them are painters as well. Rick, your mother, your dad, yeah.
Yes, so it's just a part of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to do with my hands?
Mm-hmm.
I just love music and the guitar. My uncle George, of course, is my biggest influence on my family on the guitar. And my mother didn't like me playing music because she didn't consider that her brothers, who were 3 brothers, were musicians that weren't successful. Which, of course, my uncle George was very successful, but it's just part of this negative East Texas weird attitude of failure, and you're gonna fail, and you're gonna fail, and you're
family
poor,
cycles
and
too.
It's a psychological imprint.
Yes.
That I've been fighting against too.
It's okay. I'm watching Ashtar. He's trying to make new moves today.
Okay, so.
Okay, go ahead.
Please. There's another very important thing that she wrote down the paper. She dated it September 12th, 1999, even though this was August 21st. She wrote down, she kind of drew a diagram of a body, and she wrote down my past lives from Atlantis, where I was a scientist, and to Athens, I hope Greece, not Georgia, where I was a farmer, and Mexico, where I was a traveler and a Mayan priest. So here I am in Mexico again in this current lifetime. So this is a very amazing thing, because when we were living up in a Atascadero neighborhood of San Miguel. We met our friends Rick and Jennifer, and we kind of met them briefly before that. We hadn't really gotten to spend time with them, and this was a dinner at our house. And Rick told me, "Didn't I know you from Atlantis?" I was like, "Probably." Yes. So we were probably both scientists in Atlantis. And I think the thing about being a farmer in ancient Greece was about just learning patience and these cycles of life. A farmer has to pay very careful attention to all the life cycles of things. So, and then, of course, when I met Caroline, I had already been traveling for a few years around Mexico. I would just hop in my truck or van or whatever vehicle I was driving at the time, and sometimes I would bring 1 or 2 friends with me, or sometimes I would just hop in and come over by myself, because I knew this was where the treasure was, spiritual treasure, the peyote and the crystals. So, but the past life part of the story, the traveler and Mayan priest, that showed up in past life regressions that I did with another crystal healer lady that I learned from, and my friend Nancy did a past life regression for me, and I would see these visions, very real, about being on a pyramid with a Mayan priest giving me a reading on that. So that was all on August 21st, 1999, on a day like today. ate water.
Hey!
So, and then, okay, there's a bigger thing happening on June 26, 2002. This was WorldCom trading scandal, biggest in U.S. history, and I put so far. So,
Before Enron.
well, 2002.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know what day Enron happened. I think it's in the book here somewhere.
It's probably on a water tank.
So, but anyhow, I'll get to more than that in a minute. So, talking about learning things and meeting people and learning things, meeting shamans and all. On August 14th, 2004, I talked about yesterday, Seven Rabbit, that Dr. Kalaman arrived in Texas to teach this class, and this was the day of the class, Ate Water. And it was at this place called Casa de Luz in Austin. If you're a new agey hippie person in Austin, you probably know that place. And then there are some folks came from as far away as Lubbock, Texas, and South Texas, McAllen, Texas. There's like, that's the long spread of Texas together in Austin for this class. And totally there were 13 people, 12 students, and Dr. Kalaman, 13, which is one of the magic numbers of the Mayan calendar. And then I was again in May 1st, or wait, 5-1. Yes, I was working on a painting called Venus Incarnate. Now, I said this was an unusually long project. I was busy organizing the class for Annette Karlstrom, and Carl Kalaman would be giving in a few days. So, 5 days later, Annette Karlstrom shows up in Austin. And
Did they know each other then?
of course, yes, they did.
Oh,
They were
that's
friends
great.
in Sweden.
I figured.
Then there was another thing, January 16th, 2006. I got to meet a cousin from Odessa that I hadn't met before. Odessa's far away also from Texas, from New Braunfels in Texas still. Another artist in the family. And my Aunt Sylvia helped me get someone off my back with legally sounding email. That was interesting. That was just a personal problem than anything. So I'm going to tell you now. This is in the middle of a period that started on one wind. So the one wind was the second Venus transit in the pair. The first one was June of 2004. That was 6 wind. And this one was June 6, 2012. If you were in Europe, Dr. Kalaman wrote his books in Europe, so he kind of put it from the European perspective. That's where the Greenwich Meridian is, or whatever. So, but we did the celebration the day in Texas. It was 13 crocodile. So we did a big celebration and watched the Venus going in front of the sun with our little welding glasses. It was a big, like almost 100 people at this gathering for the Venus transit. And so the one wind ends on 13 Jaguar, Cosmic Jaguar Day. So in 5 days from today will be another Cosmic Jaguar Day. And so there was this WorldCom scandal in June 26, 2002, and July 1st, 2002, the Dow Jones highest dumping value ever due to the WorldCom scandal. Hey,
What we just have.
what happens?
Yes.
Look, I'm telling you, life is deeply spiritual. These energies are coming around, and they always will come around the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's not an ending to the Mayan calendar. And we also know that time is actually speeding up. So these things will come faster and stronger as we move into this new era, where, by the way, the world really was scheduled for destruction on December 21st, 2012. But since enough of us in the world, human beings, were aware and spiritually enough to do these ceremonies, like the Venus transit ceremony, we did a whole bunch of ceremonies leading up to that, starting in 2004 at least. And Dr. Kalaman had come down several times to help us teaching the Mayan calendar. And then I talk about August 19th, 2004. I dropped Dr. Kalaman off at the bus station. He went to Dallas, and there was a Venus rising. Venus was rising over the waves in South Padre Island. So that was in the west. For Venus right now is the morning star rising in the east. I guess Venus was setting in the west at the time. So,
Cool.
And then that very next Cosmic Jaguar Day, May 6, 2005, Annette Karlstrom arrives at Austin International Airport from Sweden. And there is a small crowd of other people with me, including Dr. Kalaman and some other people that were taking the class. And another woman that came from Detroit, all the way from Detroit, Michigan, to take this class with us. We picked her up at the airport also. And then, okay, in another lifetime, these seem like lifetimes ago.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see what's going to happen this Cosmic Jaguar Day.
Woohoo.
Sounds pretty, things are ramping up really. Yes. Okay. So that was this big story in my life that I carry that energy of these events with me forever. And every time that this energy comes around, I'll be affected by these people, their personalities, the wonderful light that they've shown in my life, including Caroline and all the people that were at the Venus transit ceremony. And then there was a time, I think it was, 2011, maybe? Well, somebody I was involved with was writing in my book, and I went to see,
It was the dark side.
I think it was 2005.
It's good to talk about it, though.
2007. It might have been, let's see, June 25th, 2007.
It's a
It's a
blur.
long entry in here. But we went to see, we got in the car and drove to California to see Tata Don Alejandro. I had already been on the sacred journey with him in
Guatemala.
2007. And he was in California, and there's a movie called Shift of the Ages about Tata retrieving his sacred staff, a jade staff that he the 13th generation carrier of this staff. And somehow it got lent out to another shaman in Bolivia, I believe, and he had to go back and retrieve it and bring it back. And there was a hassle through customs and everything, of course. But anyway, he did a reading for me and my then partner, right? And we were destined, let's see, to spread the Mayan calendar message, plant the seed, and our destiny would be something greater. To avoid ego, avoid flattery, avoid pride, right? Whatever our path is, to stay on the road, and we will receive the information from the ancestors. This is on the 13 Jaguar, by the way. So I'll read more. This will unfold more in the next coming days as we get closer to that. Anyway, that part of my life, thankfully, for
What'd she
personal readings,
write?
came to an end. I can't read it. The writing is not very good.
And what did someone tell you about her one time? I think you may have
We were chosen.
been married to.
What? Satan?
Yes.
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 That was not Tata that told me that. That
No.
was another past life regression. I'm trying to read this, but I can't.
There had to be a reason why,
So-
but I think it's to avoid.
Anyway, the point is that I was meeting with Tata and he was giving me a reading.
Okay.
And that's we had already had a reading with him on top of the pyramid in Tikal. That was fulfillment of another past life dream. All right, so that's enough of that for now, because I'm going to be talking about that more as we move the next few days. Here. So we're still in a period. That's going to move into the geopolitical part of things, called Katun 6 Ahau. So this is a Katun is a medium, sort of longish period of time. I think it's 7,200 days. And this period now is condensed because of time compression, right? Into 20-day cycles. So this 20-day cycle that we're currently in will be ending a week after 13. Let's see. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's a glare.
Looking for 6. Okay, April 17th on the defunct Gregorian calendar that people are still using. Totally defunct. Yeah, see that people defunct. But anyway, it's April 17th that this 6 of How happens. So we're in the period of 20 days right now of this. The tenfold town, Ushmal, Katun, there's thievery amongst them, disrespect in speech, insolence in the face shown to the prophet lordship. The lies of their crazy speech come. So then God the Father descends to cut their throats because of their broken words, so they can be resurrected. They assemble for the judgment of our Father God. They're united, entering as Christians with those who are completed. All those born here all over the world will enter into Christianity. Now, it might not be what we think of as a church of Christianity, but the spirit of Jesus, who was resurrected. And it's just the evil part of evil spirit in people that makes them lie and steal and cheat, and they're gonna have their throats cut. So I think in the world, what's going on right now, there's so many people that are just all they know how to do is lie. In the media, they're paid millions of dollars to lie, and it's been a CIA, MK Ultra, Mockingbird experiment that they started probably in the 50s and 60s, but to spread propaganda, and they just became so used to it that all they can do now is tell lies, and it's like they don't know what the word truth even means. Oh, that truth that we said last week, we changed it now, becomes something just like George Orwell's 1984. Exactly. They don't have a concept of reality, so their throats are going to be cut because reality is going to win, right? I like to dance. This is a dancing section because it's getting serious and oh no, a hummingbird. And we gotta
and boom booms.
Because it's kind of a serious part of the presentation today, so we're just having a little dance break here. So the WorldCom scandal that happened, right? We have probably a bigger scandal because the entire stock market, not just one stock company, is crashing. And because it's always been fake, because these people always lie, because they have to lie, because you have to have a commercial on television that is a mind-washing tool, the greatest ever mind-washing tool is your television set, and they sell you stuff because they want to make money so that they can have their personal junk, and being selfish and greedy and stealing, and they're disrespectful to anybody that speaks the truth. Insolence in the face shown to the prophet lordship. So those who are prophets like myself, I don't know how to lie. If I tried to lie to you, you would know right away, because that's not how I operate. I only operate on truth. And nobody's paying millions of dollars to hear the truth, right? I don't know, I guess. Anyway,
it'll come.
They'll be resurrected. Just because you see these mass arrests that are coming and they're famous people that you thought that you respected, and you think, well, of course they're on television, they must be whatever, good people, whatever, but they're just good liars. That's all they are. And it's going to be an awful lot of them. So, anyhow, that's what we got for today, and we'll talk about these concepts more in the next few days, because it's a very important time.
Hey, good time to end it. Like, comment, share, and follow. We're going for 144,000.
Share, because this is important information.
Very important. Ciao, pues. See you tomorrow.